good morning and welcome to another Monday Morning Art Talk. So I wanted to start off with a little quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson. He said, "Don't be too timid and squeamish about your actions. All life is an experiment. The more experiments you make, the better." And it just taps into the failures. The more failures you have, almost the better, because at least you know. But the reality is, don't be too squirmish. And what I want to tie this into today's art talk is really about actions and experiments that you are going to make. But what it really comes down to is, once again, I have to just reiterate this. I did this a long time ago, but it's due for an update on our actions and what we're experimenting with. And I feel there's a danger that's happening because of our want to experiment and try new things and better ourselves. We're willing to sacrifice things in order to get that exposure and notice. And what I wanted to talk about today is, once again, value. And I know you may be sick of hearing this, or, oh, not again, is going to go off on about this, and here we go. But it's a big reality that's really happening. And even as a professional, and I just want to tell you about some experience that I've faced, which I think are a real sign of what's going on. And all around, it's going to hurt this industry. It's going to destroy you. You're not going to have a career, and you're going to get to draw all the time. Trust me, you're going to get to draw all the time, but you're just going to be drawing for yourself and sharing it on these platforms and getting some likes and some people liking what you do, but that's going to be the extent of it, and you'll never make a living at it because of the eagerness and openness that people are so willing just to give their work away for nothing. And because people, they know this, they know what's going on out there. I was talking with this company, a really large company, and talking to them, and they were wanting to create some artwork. Had a wonderful conversation about their hit shows and new shows and things they're going to be doing. And towards the end, they said, so what we'd like to know is if you'd be willing just to do this, give us a piece of artwork on spec, so that we can just see. We've got other designers who are doing this too. Other designers that are doing this too. Other top designers, people who are just willing just to say, yeah, here, do the drawing and we'll see what happens. And you just don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. And every time you do that, do you not understand that it is all the ideas that are being given? It all starts with your idea. The end result does not matter. The finished cleanup line does not matter. The final color does not matter. Don't fool yourself by thinking that they can't do anything with your design. The minute they see your design, oh my God, that was a brilliant way to draw those shoes, or that shape of that face. I never saw that before, and you'll never hear from them again. But the fact that they asked me to do this, and just because other people are doing it, you don't accept those terms. And at that moment, being polite, and always be polite, I just said, unfortunately, I don't work that way, and I believe in my value and my time of what the idea brings to the table and the importance of that. So it is for this reason I can't do that. And if you wish to hire me, if you wish me to do this, my rate's going to be this. And through that conversation, the person agreed and the rate was given. And that's because you stand up, and that's because you say what it is you're asking for. Just don't take this willing. And I've worked with some other big companies too, and I don't even want to mention them, but the reality is I hope someone from those companies will see and maybe become awareness. But even more, it doesn't even matter about those other companies, because I'm not trying to target anyone other than I'm trying to target you, that you're going to be the person on the other end of that conversation, on the other end of that line, that's going to say to these people, just no, thank you, but that's not how I work. This is how I work. And so these other companies did the exact same thing. Big companies. Why can they get away with this? Because the other top designers are agreeing to this. They're saying that they're going to do it. And it covers across all things. And if the top designers are agreeing to this, and they're saying that they'll do a spec thing and do this for free, how do you guys, are the people who aren't even professional yet, even stand a chance with this? You don't stand a chance. You're going to have nothing. You're going to be working your asses off for nothing, for peanuts, to give other people the ideas, and I've talked about this, where when you're working on projects with people that you trust and people that you're associated with, people you know you're sort of in the door, and it's a different sort of feeling, and you know what those are. Well, those are the sweat equity, and that sweat equity is when you're going to put in your time, because there's something for you at the end of the tunnel. There's a carrot there. There's a light. There's something that is it going to be a risk at times? Yeah, but you know what? You're doing it because it's not just some other big conglomerate, some other corporation company who just wants to take your work and run with it. So when you start setting that precedent that the stuff just isn't, you'll do this, no one's going to value it. They don't value the time, and they'll walk all over you, and they're going to give you revisions. They can have the audacity to say, you know what, we loved what you did. It was beautiful. God, it was so great. We really loving what you're doing. And, would you mind just going ahead and just changing these little things and do that? But other than that, I think it's great. It's wonderful. Oh man, that's wonderful. That's so great. I'm going to do it. Hey, guess what, everybody? So-and-so liked my design. Someone like this. For what? For nothing. So don't do it to yourselves, and don't ruin this. And I get it's not just character design, it's everything. So this is so important. The reality is, these other situations where these people said the exact same thing to me again, clearly they don't watch my videos or haven't seen my Facebook, and but the reality is that they'll do this, and I have to stand up and, just say what I want, but then just politely I'll get what I want. But they gamble, they gamble that most people aren't ever going to respond to them. Most people aren't going to tell them otherwise, so it's a 50-50 chance to them. I can tell this person I'm just going to give them $100. If I tell that person I'm going to give them $100, they're either going to say yes and accept it, otherwise they're going to come back and say, no, that's not my rate, I need some more. Most of the time, people are just going to say $100, great. That other person on the other line is going, woohoo, dang, that worked out for us. But they know the person who's going to come back and negotiate, oh, well, here's 1 in 100 that's going to do that. So their odds are a lot better. And that's why you got to make sure that you just understand what you charge, what your rate is. I don't care that you're starting out. If people like what you do, your stuff has the value towards them. You may be belittling yourself. You may keep telling yourself that you're no good, that you're not working out, you're not as good as the next guy. They don't think like that. You think like that, because it's all inside your own head. And the more you just build up your own confidence and believe in yourself and believe in what you're doing, and know that you're going to have to sacrifice, and some jobs you're going to get and some jobs you're not. But if you don't do it, you're not going to have any jobs, and nothing's going to happen. And it's always going to be a pain. It's always going to be a struggle. And you don't want that. Okay? It's the same thing with these contracts, where people give you these contracts and, they don't want to pay you. They're offered to pay you, but this is why I've talked to freelancers. They say, God, it's so hard to freelance. I can't do this because I keep chasing the money. Well, you're chasing the money because the reality is, or sometimes I forget that a client, even I did a job for them, because you don't keep enough of your own book records. You're not organized enough. So you got to start getting organized. You got to get an invoice program. You got to invoice in something and make a printout of your invoice that says how much that client owes. And then you also got to make sure how many days you're going to receive that. Are you getting it in net 15 days? Are you getting it due on receipt? Are you getting it in 30 days, 90 days? Some companies want to pay 90 days. They're 3 months after the fact you've done the job that they needed straight away, that they needed 2 days from yesterday. It's just crazy, and that the people accept it. You accept it, and that's why these things happening. And this is why you just got to let people know. Hey, you got to let people know if they're not listening to listen. Think about this and start spreading this. And all these schools, and this stuff should be taught in schools. And it's the reality that you want to set those terms, and that because again, they bank on the time that most of the time you're going to forget. Or if you don't forget, you're going to be too shy and too scared to even contact them and say, hey, you said that you were going to pay me in 10 days. I don't see a paycheck in 10 days yet. You wanted everything else. Whatever it may be, you got to follow up on that. So write down how many days you want it for. And if they say we'll pay you in 60 days, well, those terms aren't acceptable to you. That's what contracts are for. is for you to negotiate, but no one wants to negotiate. Everyone takes everything at hand. And for you just to be able to say, no, you know what, 60 days, I'd love to work for you, I'd love to do all this, but I require payment within 15 days on receipt of artwork, whatever it may be. I require, it up front. And that's something important if you're working with new companies, especially if you're working with new companies that you've never worked with before, you don't even know who they are. Before you even send that drawing, before you even send that little JPEG, that little idea that you say, oh, it doesn't matter, it's just low resolution, it's really tiny, they can see what's going on enough to know if they can use that idea. That you say with new clients, I require or I request a third up front, 50% up front. And when you ask for it, you get it because that's what I do and it works. Some people, they'll make excuses as to why they can't do it. Be careful, but the reality is most people can do it, okay? So that's something that I would want to just mention. So the more you educate yourself, the more you constantly learn about these things, the better you are going to have. Most studios you go into and you're going to work for, they got their set rates. That's how much they charge. It's like, hey, we accept this amount. This is what we're paying our artists on a weekly salary. You get paid once a week, every Friday. You fill out your time card. You receive your paycheck the following week. There's a system in place. That's what you do. You follow that system if it's an organized studio like many of these larger studios are. And that's what you do is when you get your check and you pick it up that way. Okay, however, you're going to do it. And sometimes they just have their set rate. It's like, hey, we'd love to pay you more. And that's why sometimes agents are lousy and they're no good because the agents can even ruin a deal for you. An agent can come in and say, hey, we want $3,000 a week. And they say, sorry, we only have $2,500 a week. Well, my client needs $3,000. Well, we only have $2,500 and we can't do any more. Okay, they end up sometimes going to the next person. That person can lose out on that job. I've seen that happen. That can happen. And also sometimes you're just better off with going and negotiating your own salary with these people. Don't think that you need an agent for everything. You go in and you negotiate and you tell them what your weekly rate is. And that's what everyone wants to know. Everyone wants to know, what is your daily rate? What is your hourly rate? What is your weekly rate? So know what your rates are, and that's going to help you. All right? Dang, that's it. Holy moly. Mad one today. But please take this to heart. Please share it. Share it. Let people know. Because things have to change, but it's not going to change. I see it getting worse as more artists are just coming out of schools. Many of them who, unfortunately, will never make it in this industry. And a lot of the times because they just don't have enough of the heart and the passion to really self-educate and push themselves further through and keep studying and keep learning and drive. They just want all the answers given to them. Most of those people aren't going to make it. But the ones who are really just driven are going to keep working, keep growing, keep educating themselves, keep moving forward in their own because of their passion and their just want, and not focusing so much on that end result of what that money is going to be at the end of the day. Anyway, you don't get into art because you want to make money. There's no guarantee in that. You don't know what's going to happen. So you're doing it because that's what you have to do. That's your blood. You're just going to do it, and you're going to educate yourself to the point and get better. And don't think you can just get any sort of these quick fixes. Oh, I'm just going to, look at this once and know what's going on. It's that process of going things over and over again. And you beat things till they're dead. You just kind of beat things. You nurture these things like everything else in life. You nurture it. If you want something to grow, you nurture it. So nurture it, nurture your mind, learn, grow, learn about this business, help yourself, and by helping yourself, you'll help thousands of other artists in this industry because you're going to benefit at the end of the day too. Make it a great week. Have fun, and thanks for watching. And keep in mind that I'm starting to enroll right now for my August session that's coming up. You can apply for an application, and I'll review your work. And if you're accepted, I'll let you know, right before, about a month before it starts. And would love to have you in the class. All right, take care. Hello, this is Steven, and I just wanted to tell you about this cool thing that I'm doing right now through my website at silvertunes.com. It's a Skype mentorship. In a sense, what I want to do is just talk to you, meet you, tell me about things that are happening in your life, see if there's anything that I could do to help you. I can look over your artwork, do your portfolio, and just maybe try to push you in the right direction that you want to take your life and your journey. All right, so you can go to silvertunes.com, go to classes, click on mentorship, and you can learn all about it. We can try to arrange a time, set up a date. It doesn't matter where you live in the world. And I just wanted to make it just very affordable, just to open it up, because I love doing this. I love meeting people from all over the planet. It's a really cool thing, and with this technology, why not? So that's it. Thanks. Whoa! Hey! Go back. Go back.
Go back.
Great. Go back. Go back.